The Greater Centerville Historians organized in the year 2000. The purpose of the organization is to preserve the history of the Township of Centerville, Cleveland and surrounding area. Gerald O'Neill, Charlie Bauer, Richard Wiegand, and myself, Kathleen Sixel, were the founding members. In 1831, the territory south of Green Bay was sold to the U.S. government by the Native Americans who had title to the land. The consideration was the promise of a reservation in another state. The Township of Centerville was established in 1850. The township had a village called Centerville. The reason for the hamlet's original name of Centerville was, in the days of the Indians, there was a trail along Lake Michigan between Manitowoc and Sheboygan. This heavenly spot was exactly at the halfway mark, so the early white man gave it the name Centerville. In 1849, the village of Centerville was surveyed and laid out in lots and blocks. The village of Centerville was renamed Hika when the Postmaster General informed the village leaders that another Centerville was located in the state. When it became time for Centerville to be renamed, a judge in Manitowoc by the name of Albert Schmidt would take kids hiking. The judge said, "You can't call a town hiking, so why not make it Hika?" Thus, the village of Centerville became Hika. In the early years, Centerville had the vision of becoming a lake port. To encourage ships to dock there, 2 piers were built into Lake Michigan. Many German immigrants arrived by schooners, and the village began to grow. The village had a brick factory, stores, schools, a Lutheran and a Catholic church, mills, saloons, blacksmith shop, and a fire department, and a brewery. When the brewery was built, the settlement began to flourish. But when fire destroyed the brewery, the largest industry, there was no longer a need for the harbor facilities. So ended this chapter of the development of Hika. 2 miles west of Hika, another settlement known as St. Wendel began to grow. It had a Catholic church, a general store with a connected dance hall, and a post office was also located in the complex, a funeral parlor, and at one time a motel. With the clearing of the forest, tilling of the land began. This prompted the exporting of lumber and grains. The farmers of Centerville looked forward to the building of a railway since they had a serious problem transporting their products. In 1873, the Milwaukee, Lakeshore, and Western Railroad was built between the settlements of Hika and St. Wendel and was named Centerville Station. In 1880, Centerville Station was renamed Cleveland after President Grover Cleveland. Cleveland, at that point in time, owes its growth to the fact that the Township of Centerville was a rich farming community, and farmers for miles around would bring products to be shipped by rail or ship. The village of Cleveland had several grocery stores, a furniture store, a funeral parlor, several saloons, Lutheran church, hardware stores, several gas stations, newspaper, photographer studio, several car dealerships, cheese factory, several feed mills, livestock yard, and lumber yards. The biggest business was the Cleveland Co-op, which offered many types of services. With the failing of grain crops, the farmers began dairy farming. With the abundance of milk, another industry began, cheese and butter making. Local cheese factories dotted the countryside. One-room schools were usually built near the cheese factories, so children would have a ride to school when farmers brought their milk. In 1958, Hika, St. Wendel, and Cleveland incorporated into the village of Cleveland. In 1968, the Cleveland Elementary School was built. The Township of Centerville has seen many farming changes, but dairy farming is still the primary vocation. Today, Cleveland is known as the seat of Lakeshore Technical College, which offers an educational alternative to four-year colleges. An ancient proverb states, When an old person dies, a library burns to the ground. These words were the inspiration for organizing the Greater Centerville Historians. We hope to preserve as many memories as possible.
Seeing it's Veterans Day, and I'm sure everybody's aware that it's Veterans Day. It started off as Armistice Day, and in 1954, President Eisenhower changed it, or got Congress to change it to Veterans Day, so it would include all the veterans, not just those from World War I. So what we're going to do tonight, we're going to open the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, and then the words on the screen, everyone in the room will be singing this nice and robustly. And then we'll follow that with a Veterans Day prayer. And then we'll stop that part of the program here, and then we'll do our regular introductions and all that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask everybody to stand and stay standing until after the prayer, and I'll tell you when to sit. So we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now Cheryl will lead you in the song.
Yes, would you please join me in singing God Bless America? God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Thank you. And now let's bow our heads, and I will read the Veterans Day prayer. Dear God, you have called your people to many walks of life. Some, like St. Francis, were called to a life of peace, and others to the life of a soldier and warrior. David, the Maccabees, Saints Joan, George, and Martin, all were called by you to take up arms in the service and protection of their citizens. On this day, bless those who have given their time, talents, and in some cases their lives to protect our freedoms. Guide them in their tours of duty. Comfort the wounded and their families. Remind us to appreciate their sacrifices. Amen. And you may sit down. Thank you.
Nicely done, nicely done. I got one other thing that I like to share with you, put it that way. My wife and myself had an opportunity to travel to Oshkosh, and we attended Veterans Day service at a middle school. And it was a nice program. You know, the band played the patriotic songs, and they brought the flags in and all that. And then they introduced the speaker, and it was a young lady. And her name was just on the program. That's all it said about it, you know. And then she started telling her story, and it was very emotional. She was 17 years old when she joined the Air Force. She joined for 4 years. She went to medical training, and she got stationed in Germany at the big Air Force base there where all the wounded service people come in. She did that for 4 years. She came back got discharged, went to school and furthered her nursing career and joined the National Guard. And in the National Guard, she met a young man there that became her husband. And he came to this country when he was 14 years old, became a citizen, joined the service, became a helicopter pilot. And all the while she was telling this story, she did a PowerPoint presentation, so she was always showing this on the big screen there. And they did get married, and the wedding pictures were all up there and that. He got sent to Afghanistan, and he was a pilot on the attack helicopter. And if you remember last year, when the attack Apache helicopter was shot down, and all 9 people were killed, her husband was that pilot. When she got done telling that story, she broke down a couple times, and she did such a wonderful job of that. There wasn't a dry eye in the gym. And that middle school kids needed to hear that story. It was just the saddest thing I ever heard. And after that, me and the wife, we went up and talked to this. This is the most optimistic young lady I ever seen. And to sacrifice so much for this country was just unbelievable, just unbelievable. You could have heard a pin dropped in there. You know, middle school kids are all fidgety and that. It was dead quiet, just dead quiet. And I'm glad we got to attend that. And now, on a more lighter note, we're going to put this up here. And the Mimi House had open house last Saturday from noon until 2. And at that time, we had 433 people go through that building in that 2-hour span. This is a pretty old picture here. And they always said the outhouse was right alongside the tavern, and there it is there. And they did buy the property. They own the property now, and they are still looking for donations, by the way. Okay, now we're going to start our meeting, and we'll do it like normal introductions. We'll probably do that side over there, and then we'll start back here. We'll pass the mic. We'll go this way, this way, this way. When it gets back there, we'll come back up here, and we'll go back and forth, and then end up over by Kathy.
Don't forget how to tell.
Yes. Microphone lesson. You got to keep the microphone up here, because if you don't, you got to hear yourself through the speakers. Without it on the speakers, you're not going to hear yourself. And I think we're going to start then, and then we'll end up, and then you can open the meeting. Okay.
Right ahead, please.
Okay. I forgot to mention. You got to tell your name and where you're from. I'm Charlie Bauer from Newton.
Thank you.
Gertie Free, Cleveland.
Thank you.
Eddie Free, Cleveland.
Thank you.
Lloyd Vogel, Cleveland.
Thank you very much.
Elise Heimroll, Cleveland.
Good.
John Scott, Milwaukee.
Thank you.
Krause, Sheboygan.
Good.
Louise Koerber, Cleveland.
Good.
Francis Koerber, Cleveland.
Thank you.
Marie Rosenbauer, Newton.
Good.
Lisa Elfson, Newton.
Good.
Rick Beiersdorf, Mimi.
Thank you for coming up. Okay.
Ken Smazel, Rockville.
Good.
Judy Kleffing Dahmer from Kiel.
Okay.
June Smazel, Rockville.
Phyllis Hickman, Cleveland.
Good.
Julie Weber, Cleveland.
Thank you.
Eugene Moiser, Cleveland.
Good.
Paul Schwinn, Cleveland.
Good power. Okay.
Susie Plummer, Rotunda, West Florida.
Okay.
Dennis Albrecht, Schleswig.
Good.
Bill Kamen, Mimi.
Good.
Kirsten Husband, Cleveland.
Thank you.
Irene Dine, Cleveland.
Good.
Alice Mathias, Cleveland.
Willard Mathias, Cleveland.
Thank you.
Town, Centerville.
Good.
Patty Ruby, Cleveland.
Good.
Cheryl Bauer, Newton.
Thank you.
Kathy Sixel, Newton.
Jerry O'Neill, the videographer from Newton also.
Right ahead.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Greater Centerville meeting. It's so nice to see all of you, and I'm really excited tonight. I can hardly talk. We're starting our 14th year this month. So I think that is wonderful, and to see that many people is really, really great, and so many of you have shared. We don't have many rules. We just raise your hand when you want to speak so that Jerry can get over to you. Always state your full name. Use full names when referring to people, because if you use nicknames, after all, nobody knows who that is anymore. And don't visit while we're speaking, because it picks up in the on the video after a while, or the DVD. And always pass pictures around, and please turn your cell phones off. And this evening, I want to welcome Gordon Krause and Louise and Francis Koerber. We're so happy you could join us. And it was so nice to talk to you. When I talked to you, both were so happy. I thought, how great. It isn't always that way. So with that, I will turn it over to Gordon.
That I was asked to talk to you folks, because really I'm not personally from Cleveland or even Manitowoc. But my daughter married Jim Koerber, and they're the farm people who are going to speak to you later this afternoon, or this evening. I moved to Sheboygan area when I started high school from Milwaukee. I grew up down there, and my father died, and my mother had relatives up here and wanted to be close to them, so we moved up here. So must have been late August, we moved to Sheboygan, and I started as a freshman at North High School. From there, I made friends with a really nice fellow in one of my classes. His name was Bill Gensler. And we have stayed friends until we're still friends. But he was a very creative kind of a person, and was just so much fun to be with that I really hung around with him a lot. And he ended up being a potter. And I had decided early, or after I got out of high school, that I thought I'd be a social worker. So I went to school and I pursued sociology and psychology and all those things. And Bill went and did the art thing. His dad was a minister, and he spent a year at seminary, and his dad had hopes that I'd be a seminarian too, but that wasn't cut out for that. So we stayed friends, and after college I found out that social work wasn't what I wanted to do. But I kept visiting with Bill. He had moved back to Sheboygan, and had set up a studio on Georgia Avenue, very close to the lake, within a half a block of the lake. And it was in an old, small garage. Didn't have any cement floor. It was wood. He found pallets, shipping pallets that people put big things on and ship on trucks and trains and stuff. And that was the floor, and he had electric kiln, and it was just fun to go visit him. And we'd go visit, and I went to a couple shows that he went to sell his work, art fairs. One was in Appleton. I wasn't involved with pottery then. But we talked about wouldn't it be fun to work together, because we enjoyed each other so much. And when I stopped doing social work in my studies, I found a job in a machine shop, and I was a machine operator on a grinding machine, and that was kind of boring. So after about 3 years of that, we really talked seriously about working together, and we did. And I moved back to Sheboygan in 1973 with my wife. Louise and Francis's daughter-in-law, my daughter, was 3 years old at the time. And we had a baby who was about less than 6 months old. And we moved to Sheboygan. And I started working with Bill as a team. And we had a studio on the south side of Sheboygan, near the Clark Station on 17th in Indiana, if anybody knows where that is. And we worked together for about 3 years. And he taught me an awful lot. He taught me how to throw pots. He showed me how to glaze, how to do some decoration things. And but after 3 years, he went through a divorce, and it was he just was not there physically to help out. And my wife insisted that I not work with him anymore, and so I started working in my own in my basement in our garage in our house. And I did that for many years, and went to art fairs and sold work. I didn't sell very much in galleries. We had a few open houses where we opened up our house and set up pottery like this here, and sold it to people that we knew in our acquaintance. And that was a real struggling time, because as a potter, it's like farming. You don't know what's gonna happen. If the weather's bad, the shows will rain out. If the weather's bad, your crops don't grow, or it's too wet to harvest them. So in that sense, we shared some common backgrounds with uncertainty and anyway, about 2003, we talked about the fact that it'd be nice to have a studio that was out of our house. And we looked at a couple places in Sheboygan, and it just didn't seem like it would. They were older buildings, and it just seemed like it'd be a lot of work to do that. And we were talking to our daughter, and she must have talked to her husband, because she suggested, "Why don't you put a shed up on the farm and work out here?" So we did that, and in 2000 and I have to look at the date here. In 2006, we moved into our studio, our new building. And did I have a picture of the studio? No, right there. And the farm, this is sort of from the southeast, looking northwest. And you can see the big silos here. That's a silo that's no longer used, and the farmhouse is up ahead, and Washington Avenue is there. And to the west of these buildings, that this building hides, is the freeway. So Washington Avenue goes another 2 or 3 blocks, I guess, before it comes to a little circle, and then you have to go back. The freeway cut the farm in half, and so that's the terminus of the that's where we are. If you ever are looking, when you come in from the south side of the very far south side of Manitowoc County, we're about a half mile from the exit, double X exit. If you look to the east, it'll be the farm and the studio are there. Anyway, all these years, I've been making pottery, and I'll pass these around just to show you the different colors and the things that I do. These are all made out of clay. It's not from Wisconsin. It's from Ohio and Kentucky. And I'll just get them to everybody, and they'll eventually get back here. Are you thirsty? I do a lot of things with geometrics because I'm not trained in art, and that's just a natural thing for me to do. So I found it worked for me, and I like doing it. So there's another mirror with a different style of design. The cattails are a design that I did way back when I was working with Bill, and it was a design that his wife came up with, and we agreed that we could both use it. The flat mirrors like that were my idea, and he started doing the flat mirrors afterwards, after we split up too, so that was a good thing for each of us. I also do things for different businesses and organizations. I should say businesses, churches and organizations like the YMCA. And this is a tile that I just made, and I had another piece right next to it, and it fell on it in the firing, and it ruined the tile, so I thought I'd bring it, and you could see a ruined piece. Not everything comes out just the way you expect it to. It's kind of interesting, when I was working at home yet, this was back in 1990s, early 1990s, I met a man named Ray Van Handel. And he worked for the Sheboygan Press, and he was interested in pottery and introduced himself and approached me and told me about his history with pottery. His grandfather, or great-grandfather, was a Gunther. And at one time there was a Gunther pottery in Sheboygan, and it was located right where the fountain is next to the library. In the between 1860 and 1890, it operated. And he gave me a thing that was part of an exhibit that the John Michael Kohler Art Center had about potteries in Sheboygan County. And they're all from that same era, the 1860s to 1900. And these are some of the things that were made back then. There were actually three potteries that were kind of commercial potteries. The Gunther pottery, they were, like I said, they were right in Sheboygan, and they actually imported clay on boats. The other one was the Sheboygan Pottery Company. That was near the end of Calumet Drive, near Superior Avenue. And the last one was a lot closer, that was featured here, and that was the Lanengluck pottery. There was a man named Lanengluck who immigrated as a young person in about 1860, 1858, and from Germany, and he set up a pottery in what's now Franklin. I think it was called Herman at the time. And so that's relatively close. That's Lakeland College. That's very close to this area. Francis was telling me the other day that there was a pottery in Cleveland. Not a pottery, but a clay factory that made bricks, a brick factory. Down near the mouth of the river, the little creek where the dam was, there had been a brickworks down there. So it's kind of neat to be part of a history of, it goes that far back. Mr. Lanengluck was a veteran. He served in the Civil War. He went to war for a year, ended up in Milwaukee as a guard for prisoners. And so it all sort of connects. It's interesting how history does that to us. About 6 years ago, 2006, let me think, 2007, I think it was. Soon after we built the building, and I moved into it, the economy really took a dive, and I just couldn't make a living doing art fairs anymore. I used to travel an awful lot. I'd go to far states. I went to Florida very often, and Kate knows that. Our friends from Florida that are visiting here. And I went to Texas and Tennessee, Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio a lot. And some of those states were really very good for selling artwork. Michigan was very good, Ohio was very good. I hardly did anything in Illinois because there weren't too many places to go to. Springfield, Illinois had a really nice show. I never did well in Chicago. Had some bad experiences there with vandalism and theft and that kind of stuff, so I stayed away from Chicago. But the process of how am I doing on time, by the way?
Oh, we're fine, just keep going.
Okay. The process of doing an art fair is just not showing up and setting up. There's a jury process. You have to send in, start out being slides of your work or photographs of your work, and then they insisted you start sending slides of your work, and now it's all email. there's something called zamplification that you have to work with. I don't know how to do it. My wife does it all, so if she'd stop doing it, I'd be in big trouble getting into shows. But you have images of your work. I take pictures of things like this, and they usually want 4 to 5 images, and they will project them on some sort of a screen or a TV monitor or whatever they do nowadays. And then there's a jury of artists or curators of museums, or maybe just some local people who are running the show that decide what people they want in the show, what kind of work they want in the show. I tried to stay away from craft shows. I did a couple of them, and I really didn't do very well at them. I think part of it's the price, and part of it, people aren't looking for pottery so much. But at the art fairs, I really did very well. The color show was very good for me. They do a show in Madison that I do very well at. I still go to Davenport, Iowa. That's as far as I've been going lately. Anyway, I had to get a different job driving a bus, a city bus. So I'm a bus driver for the city of Sheboygan the last 7 years. And when I retire, I plan on going back and doing more art fairs and that kind of traveling kind of things. When I was in the really busy part of my career, and I'm almost retired now, I guess, I was doing about 32 art shows a year, between 28 and 32 shows a year. And that means you're gone half the year, and you're producing the other half of the year, and so you put in long, long hours. But it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the traveling. I enjoyed the people that I met, the other artists who were very nice people. In general, there were a few stinkers, but most of them were very good. There's always a stinker someplace, yeah. So if you have any questions, I'd be glad to expound on something you might have a question about.
We're gonna have to. Okay. We only got one microphone tonight. Well, I can repeat it too. Yeah. Go ahead.
John Wiegand, on some of them you had numbers, and some of the things you were passing around, little numbers on there.
Oh, yes. The tags?
Yeah.
Those are prices.
Prices?
Yeah.
But just on some of them, and some of them.
Well, they've fallen off.
They've fallen off.
You know,
Okay.
I do outdoor shows and it gets stamped and human and tags fall. On the bottom, I do sign the work and I do date it. Oh, I'm sorry. The tags do fall off with weather, but on the bottom of the pieces, I do sign them and I date them by the year. Sometimes it's 2013 I put down, and sometimes it's just 13. People can figure that out after I'm gone. Yes?
Maybe I can talk loud enough. Cheryl Bauer.
I was looking at that bowl, and I think it's really unique. And I was wondering, how long does it take to produce something like that? I mean, there are certain steps that you have to go through to make that. So could you explain that to us?
Sure. A bowl like this I could probably make in about less than 10 minutes. The shape. And I hope to have time to do a little bit of throwing to show you how it's done. But the design part on something like this takes almost an hour. There are 2 firings. There's a bisque firing at about 1900 degrees, and that takes about 7 or 8 hours to get up to temperature. And then I glaze it. The glazing is pretty simple. I just pour glaze on the inside and pour it out. The glaze is what makes it shiny versus the dull, somewhat rough bottom part. And so on the inside, I pour glaze on the inside. And then I take the piece and I just turn it and pour it out. And sometimes I'll put it on what's called a banding wheel, which spins just by turning it. And it keeps going because it's got lubrication and a bearing surface. And then I can take a brush and really smooth that out, because when you pour it out, the glaze tends to drip back in, and you would see all these drip kind of things. And on the outside, I just take it with 2 hands, and I just submerge it in a bucket. You have to be careful that you don't go over the rim and fill up the inside again with glaze. After you do it enough times, it's pretty simple. So the glazing and the firing are pretty easy. The glaze firing takes longer because it's another 300 degrees hotter almost. It's 2,300 degrees. It is 300 degrees hotter. So that can take up to 8 to 10 hours depending on how full the kiln is.
How many pieces can you do at one time?
In a kiln, depends upon the size of the kiln. I have 2 kilns. If you go back to those photographs, there was a kiln with a round thing in it. Yeah, that one, yeah. Now there's only 1 piece in there, and it's a mirror. It's a large version of that. Those are about 8 inches across. Maybe this is 32 inches, or yeah, 32 inches across. So it's large. These are kiln shelves. These are posts, and I can put another kiln, set of 2 kiln shelves on top of that. Doesn't touch the pot. And I can put another pot on there, and I can stack up. I could put things in here too if I had stuff to put in there. Usually I try to work with that. On this big kiln, I can do about 4 of those big mirrors, and whatever fits in there, probably a couple dozen of these little ones. So it depends what you're doing. I have a smaller kiln that I use mostly. The big one is just for when I have either a lot of stuff or I have big pieces. The other kiln is only 27 inches across, and I can get probably, on average, probably 30 to 50 pieces in it. If I'm doing mugs, small mugs or goblets, or mirrors like this, that's about what I can get in there. But it takes me a long time to get that much produced and decorated, ready to be fired and glazed and refired. So I'm not firing every week. It's not a continual thing. Whereas in your production potters like the Langenglück in Franklin, or the Gunther Pottery or the Sheboygan Pottery Company, they were probably firing almost continually, like the Kohler Company. Or at least weekly, if not continually.
Are they microwavable?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. The clay that I have has very little iron oxide in it. Gives it that little brownish, not really brown, tannish color. If it didn't have that in there, it'd be white. It'd be porcelain clay. And because of the low iron content, that'd be the metal that would heat up in a microwave. So it doesn't really. If you do a cup of coffee, the handle gets slightly warm, but not near hot. It'll warm up a little bit. And I didn't get your name. I didn't get your name.
Me?
Yes.
Judy Dahmer.
Judy Dahmer asked that
Thank
question.
you. Thank you.
There was a question in the back. I forgot to take the microphone.
Kirsten Husband, the pieces are surprisingly light. I was expecting them to be heavier. Is that a special clay or?
The clay is the same as any clay a potter would use. It's just that it's thin. I don't make heavy, clunky pots. Sometimes, if you're making something, I've made some dog bowls for my pets, and those I make about twice as heavy as this, and that feels really heavy. They don't move very well on the floor, but the dogs don't push them off the steps downstairs and that kind of thing.
I got a question, sir.
Yes.
I see you mentioned a word of, it's not really painting or anything like that. How do you get your designs with your own fingers or with tools? How do you do that?
Okay. I didn't bring any tools along, but you mentioned painting, and it is like painting. On a piece like this, there is no painting, what he's calling painting. This is just a slip that's been put on the clay, so you got to contrast the white slip on the tan clay. Okay. On this piece, the white slip is in the decorated area with the design, and on the bottom part, near the bottom, that's the clay with just the clear glaze on it. The brown design, which shows up really very easily, nicely, is done with a watercolor brush.
Okay.
And that's a combination of iron oxide, which is rust,
Okay.
and a type of clay called ball clay, which is a real fine particle clay.
Is that spelled B-A-L-L?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, B-A-L-L. And if you just put the iron oxide on there, if you touch it, it would smudge. And the ball clay sort of stabilizes the color on the piece as you put it on, and it dries almost immediately. It takes 20 seconds maybe before you can really touch it and not have it go anywhere. And it helps it stay on in the firing too. It prevents it from flaking off. I've tried with straight oxides, and sometimes they'll flake off and they'll land up on the kiln shelf.
I have another question, sir.
Yes.
Since it's probably a cool material when you're working with it, being moist and everything. Now, when you think about going into this kiln, I've always saw heat distort metal. It did everything.
Mm-hmm.
These look pretty true. What do you do?
One of the interesting things about clay is if you make it oval, it'll stay oval in the firing. It doesn't change.
Okay.
Once you get a shape made, it'll sort of keep that shape. Unless you overfire it, and then the clay will start. What's happening in the firing is you're actually starting to melt the particles of clay together and fusing them together. In the temperatures above 1200 degrees probably, you're actually changing the clay. And once you get up to 2000 degrees, it's starting to what's called vitrify. It's turning into glass. If you heat it up hot enough, this bowl would actually settle down and end up kind of flat. It might have a little curve to it yet, but it would settle. It would like melt. Say this was like a piece of plastic, and you heat it up with a torch. It would sort of melt and distort, and that's what would happen with the clay.
Okay.
It also would darken the clay. This would get really, really dark, a dark brown color, probably like darker than that. It would get real blistery and bubbly, and you may or may not be able to see the design anymore.
Okay. Okay. You mentioned a word also, vitro something.
Vitrify.
Could you spell that?
V-I-T-R-I-F-Y, I believe.
Okay. Vitrify. Okay.
Vitrify,
Thank you.
yes.
Yeah, very good.
And that means melting together, fusing together, sort of becoming like glass.
Now I got a question, another one.
That's good.
The vase or vase or whatever it is, the proper wording there, to get inside to do the contouring.
Mm-hmm.
Is that done with the hand, or is there some other way of getting to it?
It's all hands and fingers.
Hands and fingers.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, do you work from the bottom and kind of get it coming up to you to get to the upper contours?
What I do is, and I'll show you right away,
Okay. I will.
is I take a piece of clay and I make a ball, and I get it centered on the wheel as the wheel is spinning.
About when you make your bowl there or your vase,
Mm-hmm.
so that it's like wet clay, right?
Right.
How long can you leave it sit there before it starts sagging, before you gotta put it in the kiln? Can you leave it sit there for a couple days before you put it in the kiln?
Couple of years. Yeah. There's a potter in Sheboygan, Carol Gross. She was doing pottery and then she found another job. I think it was in social work or something like I wanted to do. And she sort of packed up everything and left it sit, and her pots are still there. You know, unless they get wet, they'll be just fine. You know. The problem with wet clay, for me, is that if I put something in the kiln wet, the water will turn to steam inside the clay, and if it's thick enough, it'll create a lot of pressure, and I'll have little miniature explosions. So I have to make sure that the clay is completely dry when I start firing the kiln. And I can do that by setting it out in the sun, or I can do that by putting it in a kiln and turning it on low at about 100 degrees or so. But if I get over 212 degrees Fahrenheit, I could be in trouble. If things could explode if I didn't have it completely dry. So what I usually do is it's called soaking the pots. You put them in a warm environment in the kiln, and you let them sit there for a couple hours before you start turning the kiln up to higher temperatures.
Very good.
Yeah. We'll take our break. Or,
I got a quick question.
go ahead.
Lisa, do you do a lot of tiles too? I mean, you did that one little tile, but have you thought of doing like, say, a whole bathroom?
Our bathtub has tiles around it.
Oh, okay.
I don't do that. I haven't done that very often. I did that for a house on Lake Michigan in Oostburg. I knew some people that wanted me to do some things for them, so I did a bunch of tiles, and I actually didn't do any design work like I do here. I did a tile, and I pressed the design, and I made a plaster mold, and I pressed the design into it. After I put a color on it. I think they were all blue, sort of like the chairs here. And that's Kathy Sixel. I know her.
Aren't you involved with making the bowls for the love bowls? Or, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I've done stuff with love bowls. When they first started, somebody contacted me. I can't remember if it was Kelly Hine, who was the director, or another person from the organization, and asked if I would help them start a fundraising project. And so they have done, I think it's been at least 15 years now, they've had this event called Love Bowls, and it's moved from Horace Mann Middle School to South High School, their new atrium where the gymnasium is. And it's become a really big fundraiser for them, which is really great. But initially I helped make, we had people come in. We had students come in. We had anybody in the community who wanted to make a pot come in and make bowls. And then we'd decorate, we'd glaze them. And some other people wanted to do a lot of decoration or add on little creatures or things that they formed out of clay, stick them onto the side of the things. And it was a great thing because parents would buy their children's bowls, or grandparents would buy the grandkids' bowls. And so they came and they were really, really excited about that. And what's happened in the last probably 10 years now is they decided that it was just so much work, and they were making the pots at South High School in Sheboygan and at Urban Middle School. And those art teachers really, really worked hard to put in a lot of extra hours, and they just got burned out after a while, and you can't blame them because it was just tremendous. They ended up with like 500 bowls or something like that at each school. So that's a lot of things to fire, and that's multiple firings, and it wasn't any cost to them. It was their time, and you can't expect them to do that forever. So they're buying commercial bowls made in Mexico now, and people are real happy because they know it's for a good event and a good cause, and it's helping feed people who don't have a lot of income or are elderly and don't have a lot of income. So As of now, I'm not really actively involved. I still make about 40 or 50 bowls a year and donate them. And I don't do anything as intricate as this. I try to do nice bowls that are quick to do. It was really fun. I had a couple potters that who were friends of mine that made bowls for our event in Sheboygan. And one guy came with boxes of them. He had like 60 bowls he made for us. He was from Burlington, Wisconsin. Wayne Herrick was his name. He was an art teacher at the high school there. So that was just a really neat experience, and it was a good experience, a good event.
I have another question. Do you ever use a stencil, or is that always freehand when you decorate the bowls?
The only stencil, only thing that would help me define my design would be working on this, I call it a banding wheel. So it's like a cake decorating thing that turns. You can put a cake on it or something and you can turn it. That's that type of thing. And I've taken that and I've divided that into quarters and in thirds and sixths and eighths. I put marks on the bottom. So when I do a bowl like this, I think this is divided into this is divided into six areas that repeat themselves. But the design itself is just freehand. Yeah. You guys need a break. While you're doing a break, maybe I'll do my pottery thing while we're doing the break.
Okay, that sounds good.
And then I won't take up the time for my family.
Okay, we'll take about 10-minute break or whatever Gordon needs here to get set up, and you're welcome to come up and take a close look at what he's doing here. I don't think there are any trade secrets, are there?
No.
Okay.
I'm not the color company. I'm not the color company.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Well, we're officially on break then.
Okay.
When it's centered, it'll look like a tire on a car.
My daughter is, my son.
That's a lot closer, but it's really not there yet. It's still got a little bit of back and forth. And it's got little indents that aren't quite right, so I keep working it a little bit. And it doesn't feel right. When I move the clay, I can feel some unevenness on the inside of the clay.
Does it really dry out your hands? Working on the clay?
It can, yeah. But if you stop and start, it will. If you're in the camera, hands in the water, it's just like doing dishes for a while.
Okay.
It's not that bad. Okay, now that to me feels pretty centered. A little dimple there, that's going to be the inside. You take your thumbs, push it out. And then to make the side, you sort of squeeze and push it together. And you're changing the shape. If you're squeezing down here, the clay has to ooze out someplace, so it tends to want to go out. Or out, or whatever, whichever way your hands are letting it go. So I'm going to make this a tall base. And what I'm doing is I'm leaving it thicker at the bottom and gradually tapering it thinner to the top. If I leave the top real thick and thin out the bottom, then it gets real weak at the bottom. So I want the strength to hold it up. So I leave it a little thin at the bottom. Now as I go I'll thin out the bottom a little bit more. I'm going to leave this fairly thick because I want to.
So does your
clay come in a paper bag dry, or is it moist when you get it?
It's dry.
It is dry, like powder.
But a lot of powders get pre-mixed clay. I have a clay mixing machine, which helps, which takes the powder and mixes it with water, and it comes out as a log, like this. And then I have another clay mixing machine that has a vacuum pump on it, and it gets rid of all the air bubbles. So once it goes through there, I don't have to do anything to it. If you buy clay from a distributor, it comes in a 50-pound sack. You cut it into pieces, and you might have to take that and wedge it and get rid of any air bubbles. Or if it's a little drier on the outside, you have to wedge it to make it blended so it's smooth all the way through. Now somebody was asking me, how do I do the base and make the shape on the inside? It's just fingertips on the inside and either a knuckle or fingertips on the outside. Here we can now start going out if we want to.
Have you ever given classes?
Yeah, I've done that. I still do that a little bit. Yeah.
How easy it looks.
Yeah, it looks so easy.
You're gonna have a great touch for that, right?
I've had one student for about 4 years now. She lives in Johnsonville area, and she comes out. Well, this summer she didn't come out very much, but she was coming out every week for a long time. Now she's got to start up again. I might get rid of some of the extra clay here and just cutting it off. And we'll shape it up. Smooth it off. I need a smooth surface on my work to decorate it.
All of this clay that is excess you can reuse.
Yeah. And I like to put a little definition where my shoulder of the pot ends. This is called the shoulder, that part that comes in. This is called the neck, this little part in here that goes in. And this part way out here is called the lip. That's the foot down here if I
But to get it even.
Yeah, it's just a matter of really being real steady. Now this is going to be a little undercut here. And that makes it look like it's not part of the ground. The table lifts it, elevates it a little bit.
So did you ever make a water pitcher?
Yeah.
How does that handle get attached? You just roll it out with your hands and stick it on there, or?
What I do is I form a handle, I pull a handle, it's called pulling a handle. It's kind of messy, so I'm not going to do it here, I don't want to get the rug off. But you make a coil of clay, and then you take your hand and get it wet, hold the top of the coil, and then pull it down and lengthen it, strengthen it, and thin it and lengthen it. And then you take that and you can, it's very flexible. You can fold it over and lay it down however you think you want the shape to be, and let it set up for a couple hours probably, so it's a little stiffer. And then you can shape the attachment parts, where the thick part on the top, I'd make the thick part on the top. I'd have to shape that so it would fit on the curve here a little bit. I have it's called a fettling knife. It's like a long, thin knife, but it's not very sharp, but it can do nice carving in the clay. And then on the bottom, I would just rough up the clay. I'd rough up the clay on both parts. I just take a tool like this and really get it all smushed up. Take some wet clay. If you do enough of this, at the bottom of here you get a slurry of clay.
Sure.
It's sort of like pudding. You put it on there, and then you do the same thing here. You rough this up and attach it. Yeah.
Now, what if you wanted to make that as a canister and you're going to put a lid on it? How would you know how big the lid would be?
called a ruler or something.
No, don't get technical with me, Charlie. Have you ever been to Old World, Wisconsin?
Long, long time ago.
Oh, because World Pottery made them a bunch of canisters for like their flour and sugar, and it would look very similar to that, but then they'd have nice fitting lids on it. Oh, so there's
That's where the lid would fit into.
Okay.
Okay. And then you use a ruler or a calipers.
Yep, to see the size.
To get the size, yeah. And then you'd make a part that would fit on there. And that would be pretty easy.
Just one.
This is pretty heavy because it's pretty thick. But later on, I'll take a wire like this and I'll cut off the bottom. I'll cut the pot off the bat.
Oh, we got Wendel here.
This isn't enough.
Sorry about that.
That's better.
No, that's a special plate.
Yeah, there's nothing. It's really just clay. It's really smooth.
Okay, like
Go
Play-Doh.
across like this.
Like chocolate ice cream.
Yeah.
Nice and cool, they had it in the cooler. Uh-huh.
This is the temperature of my area that I work in.
So how much of a wall did you need for that? Like half of that?
For what?
To make that base?
I use one like this.
A whole thing like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now to make the lid part, it's actually 3 pieces.
The cover for the top
And the handle.
like a canister.
Been hard on the hand.
On this surface it is, yeah. I've got some plastic mats that are really nice and smooth. And you can work on those all day and not feel anything. A handle I'd make like I made the lip here. I take a small piece of clay like this, open it up and push it together and then fold it out and then something to grab. And then for the lid part, this is not going to be big enough, I don't think. Just spread it out. And you make it to whatever size you need.
Okay.
And then this is the inside.
Yep, and you would cut it and put the lid on top, or handle on top. Cool.
Right. This could also be a coaster or something. You know?
Oh, yeah. Cool.
It looks so simple.
And then actually the bowls are the easiest thing to make.
That sure works up fast, doesn't it? You know, this is really a nice place to meet. This is the first time I've been here. Oh, really? Yeah.
It's always centering and then opening it up with your thumbs. If you're doing real little things, you can open up with your fingertips too. That works just as well. And then it's a matter of compressing the clay and squeezing it and making it loose up between your fingers. And here we're going to leave it go out a little bit more, rather than keeping it confined and making it go straight up. So it's almost instant gratification. It's right there.
Yeah.
And I smooth them off so they're not rough. But that's all the clay I have, so that's what I'm gonna do for you. But no, you know, you could put a lip on here too, just like that piece. Just make it come out a little bit, or make it go in or out, in and out.
Certainly going to have the right things.
And somebody was asking about a picture. If you make a picture, you get this wet. You take your finger and you.
Oh, that's before.
You have to hold it here clear so it doesn't, otherwise it would just, no shape. Yeah. But there's a mixing bowl that you could pour.
Yeah, those are the greatest. I love those. Never have enough of them.
Okay, so that's it.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, you're welcome.
You know, I think what everybody should do is give him a wonderful hand for his demonstration. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Back in, what year would it be? Our daughter was born in 1970. She went to high school, so that'd been 1988. About 1990, she was friends with a young lady from Cleveland. Her name was Karen Koerber. And Laura came to the farm many times. And there was an older brother that she never ever saw. His name is Jim. And one time Karen called Laura and said, "I'd like to go out on a date, but I don't want to go alone. Would you double date with me?" And our daughter said, "Sure." And Karen set up my daughter with her brother, Jim. And Laura came home that night, and I wasn't there, but my wife relates the story. She came in and said, "Mom, he's wonderful." And that's how we met the Koerber family. Here's their story.
Do you want to explain the studio picture?
I'm just working there at a table. This is the inside. This is a bandy wheel right here. This thing you see here, and it just spins. That's what I was talking about, turning the pots and having marks on it to divide things up. This maybe is a potter's wheel. I can't tell what that is. But that's just a table that I used to work on a lot, do my decorating. Now I've gone back to the potter's wheel, and I'll work on that surface without it spinning to do my decorating. It's just the right height to do that, and it's very comfortable. You can't see much here. The kilns are in a different part of the building. I don't know what to say. Fanless for drying. Oh, here's another kind of potter's wheel. This is one back here. I didn't see that one. I used to use that one a lot, and I've given this one out to people to use if they're taking lessons and they want to try it at home, see if it works out at home. So that's a possibility for. Where is she? I was talking to somebody earlier. There she is. There. Okay. You can take a potter's wheel home and some clay and try it. You know. I don't have anything else to say, really.
Anybody got any more questions?
I got a question. Same
Video.
old. That's okay. As far as humidity, warmth, or temperature, is that important for if you have your own studio or in your studio?
Well, if clay freezes when it's wet, what happens is when it thaws, it's all crystals, and it just sort of falls apart. So it's not good to freeze clay.
Not good to freeze clay.
No.
Okay.
Otherwise, humidity, it just takes things longer to dry.
Okay.
It could be hard in a very arid, desert-like climate because things would dry too fast. It could be a problem if you dried something in a breeze, because one side would get dry where the wind was hitting it, and that would shrink. And the clay, I didn't tell you this, the clay shrinks 20%. So if I have something that's 10 inches, when it's wet like this, it'll be 8 inches when it's dried and fired.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So your question back here, yeah.
I guess, yeah. John Wiegand, when you work like you're doing on that picture there, you prefer probably not to have any distractions? In other words, no people, no radio? Or doesn't that bother you?
The question was, do I mind distractions while I'm working? I don't like people around too much. I've been pretty much a hermit in my basement studio. And coming out here, I've kept a low profile. I don't get many people coming in. It's hard to, for me at least, to start something and finish it without interruptions. Yeah.
Do you give lessons? I'm Kathy Sixel.
It's Kathy Sixel. I do give lessons.
Your classes?
And classes, yeah.
Do you have a picture of your wife? I think you talked about her before.
I think there is in my album more of that one
Oh,
too.
here it's under the docket.
Who's gonna start where? We gotta stay away from these speakers, because
Wow.
we had a problem the other day with Earl standing under speaker, we get a squeal, and that's not good.
Would you like to come up here?
Up here?
Yeah.
You can bring your stuff up here
There's
if
a
you need it
chair.
on, if you need it on.
Okay, one more time, the name, please.
Francis Koerber,
Thank you,
Cleveland.
thank you.
Okay.
And what street or road are you living on?
Linden Street.
Oh, on Linden Street. Good. Okay, I'll let you proceed, sir.
Okay. Yeah, we bought our farm in 1938. It was a bankruptcy farm. We bought it from a Haven bank for $8,100, 80-acre farm with the buildings. And then we expanded a little bit. 11 acres came for sale. A couple of years later, we bought that. And then when I got out of high school, I went to short course. When I got short course, they said, we got to buy more land. We got to get bigger. So then we bought Shore Farm. It was 80 acres. And some more came up for sale. We bought that. And then a year later, so started farming, and I got drafted into the Army. So then that was 2 years gone. So when I came back, then I went partnership with my dad. So then we just kept going. And then I finally says, you know, this farming alone ain't no good. I gotta find a wife. So I met Louise, so I said, that's it moved us up though. That's what we brought her home on Sundays when we weren't working in the field and stuff. So she thought, oh, the farming ain't that bad, you know. But when we got married, then she found out different. So we've been a farm for 75 years now. So
Okay.
took over 20 years ago, so, but I'm still the boss.
How many years are you married, sir?
51.
51, congratulations.
We got married same day.
Oh, what?
Hey, Francis, tell some jokes. I mean it, Francis. We're not gonna let you get off. We used to have the neighborhood
I'll
parties.
tell you, I'll ask you one question. Yeah, if you're being chased by a bear and you're running and there's only a church and a tree, what you do? Run into church or climb up the tree?
Climb up a tree.
Yeah, because you don't want to run into church with a bear behind.
Francis, we want another one.
When you said we bought the farm, who is we?
Oh, that was my dad, John.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about our family a little bit. This is an old picture. It was taken in Czechoslovakia, and that is where my husband's, Francis, mother's family came from. And one of these girls is my husband's great-grandmother. I don't know which one it is, but she came over to the United States by herself in 1867. And a year later, one of her brothers followed her, and they settled in the St. Nazianz area. Now you can turn to the next page.
Louise?
Yes.
What was her name? Or the meaning?
Her name was Margaret Heller.
Margaret Heller.
Yes.
And how old was she when she came here?
She was, what did I say, 21.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll always repeat the question.
Oh, I'm sorry. She wanted to know how old Margaret Heller was, and she was 21 when she came over to the United States. Okay. Now this is my husband's father's side of the family. This is his father and his mother. They came from a small village in Germany, in Bavaria. This is his older sister and the younger sister, and the very youngest sister wasn't born on here yet. And this is his brother, and he died when he was a young man. I don't know if he had some kind of illness. do you want to say something, Katie?
He was 19.
He was 19, and he had some kind of a breathing illness, and it was a very hot day, and he came in from the field, and he drank real cold water, and it gave him a heart attack or something, and he died real instantly.
Could you put a name to any of these people that are there at all?
Okay, what was the old ones? Leona? Okay, this was Leona, that was the oldest, and then this is John Koerber, and that's his father, Francis' father. And this one was George, that's the one who died, and this is, her name was Kunigunda.
Say that word again, please.
Kunigunda, and they called her Kuni. And the youngest one who is on here was Philomena, and they're all passed away now. My husband's father, John, he lived until he was 100 years old, so he has a pretty strong heredity of good age, but I hope he doesn't live until he's 100. You can turn to the next page.
Sure, it's up there.
Okay. Okay, this is Francis' mother and father. What were their names?
Ambrose.
This is Ambrose and Anna. And this is their grandson, Joel.
When did they immigrate to this country?
His father came in 1927.
7 or 8.
I think it was 1927 he came over here. And he also came by himself without the rest of his family. I think the story goes that after his brother passed away, and his father had already passed away, and so there were all girls in the family, and he just couldn't work with all these girls, so he came over here. Let's see. This is your grandparents.
Yeah.
This is Francis' grandparents. This is grandfather Ambrose.
Yeah.
And his grandmother Anna. And this is his. This is the old. This is
Irene.
This is Irene.
That's Mom.
This one here.
Yeah, that's Mom.
Oh, okay. This is Irene.
Yeah,
then, huh?
the one on the right.
This is Irene, his sister, and this is his mother, Francis' mother, and this is Uncle Joe, and this is his Aunt Helen.
Yeah.
I think most of them are taken in St. Nazianz because that's where they were born and they grew up. This is Francis' grandmother and grandfather, Ambrose and Anna, and they're spinning this, just showing people how to spin. They still have that spinning wheel.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know how to spin, but I would like to someday. Okay. They don't have any history of Cleveland, but this is taken when St. Nazianz had their Diamond Gold Jubilee in 1929. And this is Francis' dad, John. He worked for the sisters up at St. Nazianz for a number of years before he met his future wife. And how he met his future wife, Eleonora, was they sang in the church choir together. And eventually, things led from one thing to another. And this was for the parade when they had the Golden Jubilee, and they put this. I don't know what the significance of the log cabin is. Do you? No? Okay. But ordinarily, he was sort of demonstrating how they handled the oxen, but they couldn't find any oxen, so they used these two big steers. And he demonstrated how they used the animals on the farm. And I think these pictures are also, they're not labeled, but I think they're from St. Nazianz, but I thought this was a nice pastoral picture of the cows sitting in the field.
Hmm.
And this is also nice, and I think this is John too. And he's, what is he doing?
Cutting oats.
He's cutting oats, okay.
Louise, did
Tell
they
she's from the
clear the
city.
land?
I don't know, I really don't know.
Could you tell
Because
us?
he did work for the sisters up there at the convent, and I think they had already, the land was already cleared then.
Could you, by chance, tell us, location-wise, west of St. Nazianz, east of St. Nazianz, or anything like that? To give us an idea where that farm was located?
Do you know where the sisters' farm was?
It was right in the
Here.
it was right in the middle of the village.
Really?
It's gone now, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was, he worked 12 years for them, and then that was the end of it, yeah.
Some of you may have seen this picture
Polly
already.
Schwind in there.
What?
Polly Schwind.
Yeah. Yeah, some of you are in this picture. This is St. Wendel School, and it was, I don't know what year that was. If anybody could. You could forget.
46, 47.
Yeah, around, oh, he was about 10, so it was around 1945. Okay. And here's, oh, by the way, I'd like to introduce you to Frances' sister. She's up from Florida visiting for this week. And it's, her name is Katie Plummer. Oh, you can picture that. And so this is the picture of her. This is here, right here. And this is Frances here. And I don't know, they said that we could see Polly Schwind in there, but I don't know where he's sitting. Way in the back. Do you remember what the sister's name is? No. Do you remember what the sister's name was?
I don't know.
No?
They all look the same.
Yeah. That's right. Sister Emmanuel, she said.
She had a wooden leg.
Oh, she had a wooden leg. And this is Francis when he was in the army with one of his buddies. Do you remember what your
Billy
buddy's name?
Main.
What?
Billy Main.
Billy Main.
Yeah, he killed when we got him drunk. He got.
Say that again.
The audience would like to hear that.
We used to get him drunk and he'd laugh for about 10 hours straight.
Let's see if I go like that, will that work?
Sure. And that's me. I worked at Citizens Bank in Sheboygan. I was born in 1942. I graduated from high school in 1960. And I didn't have any formal training, but I worked in the bookkeeping department at the bank. Prior to that, I had a couple of other jobs. I did. I worked at Prangy's for a while, and I worked at Penny's for a while. I was the elevator operator there. And I did all kinds of other jobs while I was in high school, babysitting and house cleaning and whatever I could find.
Did you mention what high school you went to?
I went to North High.
Okay.
And I graduated in 1960.
Okay.
And my husband Francis went to Central High, and he graduated in 1953.
Tell him how we met.
How did we meet? Oh,
I like that guy, you know?
I'm from Sheboygan, so I'm a transplant out here. So I don't know a whole lot about the history of Cleveland and the area. But I had a brother living out here. His name was Robert Wilkie. I don't know if any of you remember him. And his wife was the organist at St. Wendel Church. And they became friends because she was from Germany, and they became friends with Francis' mother and dad. And I don't know how they got. Oh, my sister was out visiting my brother, and she's younger than I am. She's 4 years younger. And Francis asked, "Oh, do you have any any older sisters?" And she says, "Yeah, I have an older sister." So they arranged for us to meet, and that's how we met.
Francis, you robbed the cradle.
I know. I happened to find this when I was looking for pictures, and it's they bought the farm in 1937, and this must have been their first tax paper, property tax.
What was it, $84?
You know, I don't know, there's no period,
Okay.
between, so I don't know if it must be $54.22. And the farm was worth, what was it, $6,200? So, okay. This is a picture of our farm. Oh, that's yes it is. That's a truck from Bailiff's Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
He was loading up from the corn crib into the truck. Okay.
So they took that back and they ground the feed in.
Yes, yeah, they took it back to the mill and ground it up and added
Well,
some.
they brought it right on a farm.
Oh, they ground it right on the farm? See, that was before my time.
What's the house?
This is our house. It must have been just prior to before I met him, because I remember that car that was there. Okay. And this is a garage that they were building. They had built that in 1950 something, 53, 54. And this little girl up here, that's Katie. Yeah, that's another view of the farm. It's kind of hard to see what it is. This is an aerial view of the farm. And the farm is located on West Washington Avenue, just west of Westview Street.
And that was before Gordon had his studio, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I can't see it on.
Yeah, I don't know if we have any of the aerial pictures with his studio on it.
On the photograph there, where would the studio be located on that picture?
It would be back here someplace.
Yeah.
If you look on Google Earth, you can see the whole thing.
Yeah. And here's another, we have a second farm where we raise our young stock, and it's on Double X, right across from Schmidt's Excavating. And that's ours. And the house is no longer there. It was taken away when they built the I road. They said they needed the room, and they could have left it there because it wasn't really in the way, but they took it. And that's another view of the farm from the west. This is looking from the west to the east. And that's another aerial view. The reason, the way I can tell if it's, you know, an older one or a newer one, we built this here shed here, and so it made it look a little bit different. And there haven't been too many improvements or changes of the buildings and so on. That's the front of the barn.
One change,
Yeah, that's one of those long pictures.
one change is you don't sell the lake anymore.
No.
Eat Henning cheese.
Yeah, we ship to Henning.
That's your last photograph.
Okay. I also have, I brought with me, we celebrated our golden wedding anniversary last year, and one of my daughters made us this book, and so I'm going to pass it around and you can look at it. It's mostly pictures of our family and how we grew and how we changed.
Louise, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
What's the best and the worst of living with Francis?
Well, the worst is his jokes. Well, our honeymoon.
Yeah. Said you gotta leave it here early.
We went up to Niagara Falls for our honeymoon, and we planned a whole week. But it was in October, and he didn't have all the corn harvested, and he didn't have the plowing done. So we were home by Thursday already. So the farm always comes first.
How many children do you have?
We have 6 children.
Wow.
3 boys and 3 girls.
Do you have one living in the Kiel area?
Yes, on just off of Highway A on Town Line Road.
Town Line Road.
Yeah, that is F, and then it changes after A, it changes to Town Line Road.
Are there other Koerbers up in that?
Not anymore, no.
That's got to be one of your sons. Do they have other children going to Divine Savior?
They have one daughter that, now she goes to St. Peter and Paul in Kiel.
Okay.
But the middle school was in New Holstein.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what grade is she in?
She is in 7th grade this year.
What is her name?
Elaine.
Okay. She won 3rd prize for the patriotic hymn.
Tell us on the microphone.
You want everybody to hear. Your name? Oh, my name, I'm Judy Classic Dahmer from Kiel. I live in Rockville.
Okay.
And I'm chairman of this patriotic pen. And so I know that your granddaughter, Elaine, took 3rd place in the patriotic essay contest.
And when was that held?
Today. I'm not sure. Another friend was going to announce the award to her, and I don't know if they did it today or not. But that's how I happen to know about your family.
And what does she get for that 3rd place?
She got $50.
Wow.
Very nice. The first place gets 100, and then second place 75 and 50.
Oh. Now, what did they have to do for this contest?
They had to write an essay on what does, jeez, I can't remember, what does patriotism mean to me?
Oh.
Okay, so it's every year they have this contest, and it's all the headquarters of the VFW post. They decide the theme that's supposed to be. They also have the voice of democracy. And today they had 3 entries give their presentation at the program at the high school. So, but Divine Savior has been participating for quite a few years. And it's Mrs. Jelinek who has them do it as an assignment. So they all have to participate.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm proud of her.
Yes, you are.
Any other questions? John?
You just showed John Koerber and Eleanor, his wife, on their wedding picture there. My father always said John Koerber would never work on Sundays other than what he had to do. I mean, that was part of his religious beliefs, and boy, how that has changed over the years, the way farmers operate nowadays.
Yeah, and when you talk about never working on Sunday, it makes me think about the Koerbers were known to be the first people on the field in spring. And so when the Koerbers got on the field, everybody else had to get out there too. That was their motto, or their belief, that if they could get an early start in spring and get the crops in early, they would have a good crop. And most of the time it was true. Oh yeah, this is Francis' mother and father wedding picture. And I don't know, you're going to have to help me out. I don't know who they are.
Helen, the little one.
This is Helen?
No.
This is Helen.
And that's Irene.
And this is Irene. And who's this?
I don't.
Nobody seems to know who that is. I just love the dresses that they wore and the beautiful bouquet.
That's a nice picture.
Yeah, that is a nice picture.
You know who took the picture?
I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah, that was in St. Nazianz. That's where they got married. Could be, yeah. Probably, if that was the only photographer in the area.
And John Hill was here too for a while, and after all, he came to Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else? Anybody else got any questions?
Could we end with one joke more from?
You really want to get them started, don't you? John?
John Wiegand, I don't know.
Okay.
John Koerber used to stop a lot by Woodrow Dine and by us. Louis Wiegand socialized when he was in his later years, he just liked to talk. I mean, once in a while, I was the only one there, he talked to me. He had a little trouble with the English, but I mean, he knew I didn't understand German, so he made it through very good. I mean, I could understand him. So I kind of look back at that now as kind of an educational experience, getting to talk to these old Germans like Koerber and John Ziegler, and they're not around anymore, and I miss them. And the other thing is, I remember John Koerber, I guess he told my dad that, he said when he was young, he couldn't afford to drink beer, and when he was old, he couldn't drink it.
Well, let's see if we can. Oh, yes.
Louise, I remember years back, your mom, Leonard's, not Leonard. His mother and dad, anyhow, used to make baskets. Yeah.
Yes, that was John's hobby.
Yeah.
He made
wicker baskets, and he would, they were made out of willow. Yeah. And he made many, many baskets and gave them all away. And I know a lot of people have those baskets. I should have brought one along. Irene.
Hi, Irene Dyer. Did any of John's brothers or sisters get as old as he? Or anybody else close?
She asked if John's brothers and sisters got as old as he did. I don't think so.
In the 90s, what sister?
Yeah, the two sisters were in their 90s, in their early 90s when they passed away, the two youngest ones.
So Francis will be around for a while yet.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe he'll have more time to play cards then. Did you think of another joke? Can't do it.
One more, no.
One more? Okay.
The boss came to the secretary's room, and here she was crying. And he says, "What happened? Well, my mother died." And he says, "Oh, you gotta get over it. People die every day." So she was okay the rest of the morning. Afternoon, he came in. Here she was crying again. He said, "Now what's wrong?" Oh, she said, "My twin sister, her mother died too."
This time I take the mic away. Does anybody else have anything for the good of the order here? We got 10 minutes yet, and this is our last meeting for the season. And Kathy put a little something up here.
Could you read that, Charlie, please?
I can't read that, Jerry, you know that. These people can all read that. But if any, you got something? Kathy, you wanna explain your poster?
The poster states that it's the Centerville Settlement Historical Society will have their Christmas party, and it will be at Kessler's Old World Guest House on December 8th, and everybody is invited, so we hope we see some of
That's
you.
from last year.
So we'll have entertainment and sing Christmas carols and share some Christmas memories. So just call me if you want to come.
Last year.
Then I made a mistake. Oh boy, the invitations went out today. Okay, all right. And well, thank you, Louise and Francis and Gordon. It was very interesting.
Give them a big hand.
Big hand. Yeah, very nice for both of you. Well, next year we'll have to see what the weather is. We'll either start May or April, and we're going to have interesting programs. I've got enough for the year already. People have come forward. Big variety again. So we hope to see all of you and have wonderful holidays. And again, thank you for coming. Thank you, Cheryl and Charlie, and also Jerry. So, yeah, so, okay, well, we'll see you December 8th, 2013. How's that? Okay. All right, bye-bye.
We're gonna go around one more time so we get everybody's name on the, so I gotta wait for Jerry to get off his
Right.
perch up there.
Head, please.
Charlie Bauer from Newton.
Okay, thank you.
Gertie Free, Cleveland.
Good.
Eddie Free, Cleveland.
Thank you.
Lloyd Vogel, Cleveland.
Good.
Elise Heimel, Centerville.
Thank you.
John Scott, Milwaukee.
Good. Hold it. Try one more time.
Gordon Krause, Sheboygan.
Good job. Thank you for coming.
Louise Koerber, Cleveland.
Good.
Francis Koerber, Cleveland.
Good. I'm hoping I'm as spry as you are.
Marie Rosenbauer, Newton.
Thank you.
Lisa Elfson, Newton.
Good.
Rick Beiersdorf, Mimi.
Good.
Ken Smazel, Rockville.
Good.
Judy Dahmer, Rockville.
Good.
June Smazel, Rockville. Phyllis Hickman, Cleveland.
Good.
Julie Weber, Cleveland.
Good. Thank you for coming.
Eugene Weiser, Cleveland.
Get that in.
Paul Schwinn, Cleveland.
Good.
citizen, not citizen. I'm North Florida, and I'm Francis' sister.
Okay, thank you.
Susie Plummer, Rotunda, West Florida.
Good, thank you for coming, folks.
Dennis Albright, Schleswig.
Good,
Bill Cammon, Mimi.
good,
Kirsten Husband, Cleveland.
thank you,
Irene Dine, Cleveland.
good.
Alice Mathias, Cleveland.
Willard Mathias, Cleveland.
Thank you. Okay, go right ahead, please.
John Wigan, Centerville.
Thank you.
As long as I have the mic, I was informed that they will have a Veterans Day program here at tomorrow noon.
Okay,
Apparently it didn't work in their schedule today,
All
so
right.
tomorrow at 12 o'clock,
at LTC.
LTC,
Okay, very
Veterans Day program, if you could make it.
good, thank you. Way to go, John.
Patty Groupie, Centerville.
Thank you for coming.
Cheryl Bauer, Newton. And I just wanted to clarify something. When my husband was talking about a Veterans Day program that was held in Oshkosh that we attended, that was put together by our daughter-in-law, Emily Bauer, who teaches middle school band at South Park, Oshkosh.
Good.
Kathy Sixel, and again, thank you all for coming for the whole year, for all the support, and also have wonderful holidays, and we'll see you all in spring.
Very good, thank you.